What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with IQOO 12 tips and tricks and hidden features. So stay tuned if you want to learn how to get the most out of your device. So this is the IQOO 12. This phone is packed full of a variety of different awesome features, and I'm looking forward to showing you my favorites here in this video. Now the first thing I want to show you is how to get a battery percentage in the upper right corner. So by default, we do have a battery icon, which does give us some level of indication on the amount of battery left in the phone, but it doesn't give us that precise percentage, so let me show you how to enable that right now. So what you're going to do is pull down the shade here and go to the gear icon for the settings. Then from there, you're going to go down to where it says battery, go there, and then you'll see right here, battery style and percentage. So if we go there, you'll see that there's actually quite a few different options. Now the first option here is to get the actual percentage. So if you tap on display outside battery, you'll see that immediately we can now see the percentage in the upper right corner here on the device. And no matter where we are throughout the operating system, you'll still see that percentage in the corner. Now heading back over to here, you can see we also have the choice to change how the actual battery icon itself looks. So we can switch to landscape. So the battery icon will be sideways instead of vertical. We can also go to circle to get kind of this circular indication. So it is cool that IQOO gives you some different choices here. Now heading back over to the main battery area, there are a few additional things here that I do want to show you. Now the first thing is, you can see that there is this kind of slider here where you can switch between battery saver, balanced, which is the default mode, and then monster. Now if you're not familiar with what these are, and especially if you've never heard of monster mode, you can actually tap right here to get a description of those various modes. So battery saver is pretty self-explanatory. It's going to cut out quite a few different background tasks to make the phone a bit more efficient. Now I wouldn't recommend having battery saver mode enabled all the time because you're not going to get the most out of your smartphone, but definitely in situations where you know you won't have an ability to recharge anytime soon, I can definitely see battery saver coming in handy. And then for monster mode, this basically takes the phone's performance to the next level. So it's going to make everything a lot faster. I can definitely see this coming in handy when playing games, for example. But in exchange for that, the phone will use up quite a bit more power, and the phone might also heat up. So overall, I do recommend keeping the phone in balanced mode at most times, but there might be situations where monster mode and battery saver mode do make sense for you. Now, going over to battery saver settings, you can see we have the option here to set a schedule. So if you do find yourself using battery saver mode consistently, and especially at certain times of the day, you can set a schedule for that. And then also enabled by default, the phone will get out of battery saver mode once it is recharged at up to 90% or higher. Then heading back here, there's also an option for battery health and charging. Now going over here, you can see that we do have optimized battery life enabled by default. So basically with this enabled, the phone will learn your various charging habits, and then it will basically charge the phone at kind of an optimal rate so that the battery doesn't wear out as time goes on. Now, if you want to do fast charging instead, basically the phone will recharge as fast as it can, but in exchange for that, you might not get as good of long-term longevity out of the battery in the device. Now the next feature I want to show you is called Quick Action, and with Quick Action, you can do certain things on the phone just by using the power button here. So let's go to this. We're going to pull down the shade here, go to the settings, then from the settings, go down to where it says shortcuts and accessibility, which is right here. And then you'll see right here, Quick Action. So go there. So this is how things are set up by default. So basically, if you hold down the volume down button, it will then activate one of these various options. So you can see by default, it actually will turn on or off the flashlight. So let's try that first. So I'm going to now hold down on the power button. And there we go, the flashlight is now on. And then the flashlight's now off. So we'll head back over here and you can see there's options for recording audio. You can also use it to open up Facebook, or you can pick from any app on the phone. So I'm going to go to open app here, and then I'm going to pick Instagram. So then now when I hold down on the power button, it will then prompt me to put in my code or my fingerprints, and then it will then pull up that application. Now you can see there's one other option here, Quick Action for camera. And then basically, when you double press the volume down button, it will then launch the camera when the screen is off. So let's try that right now. And there we go, it pulled up the camera right away. Now the next thing I want to do is show you some different display settings. So we're going to go over to the main settings area here. Then we're going to go down here to display. And then from there, there's quite a few different options. So for example, there's dark theme as an option. So that will basically make the phone darker. This is definitely better in late night situations. Maybe you are at the movie theater. You definitely see myself using this feature. There's also eye protection. So by enabling that, it basically makes the display here a little bit easier on the eyes, which is better towards the end of the day as well. You can also go here to set a schedule for that. And if you want to set the intensity, you can make that adjustment as well. You can do the same thing here for dark theme too. So for most of these options, you can then press here for further customizations. You can also see there's options here for the system font and then also display size. We can also go here for screen resolution. So the phone is set to the maximum resolution by default, but if you want it to be slightly lower resolution but more power saving, you can make that change. And then this option here is one of the most important ones. This is screen refresh rate. So going here, you can see that by default, it is set to smart switch. So the most appropriate screen refresh rate will be selected based on what you're doing on the phone. But you can see if you want the phone to be at 60 Hertz all the time instead, you can make that change. So everything's going to move a lot slower here. You can see it's a lot choppier, but in exchange for that, you will get better battery life. But if you want the phone to always be at 144 Hertz as the refresh rate, you can actually set it to be at that level at all times. So this will use the most amount of battery, but the phone will always have that faster refresh rate. So definitely quite a few different options here when it comes to the refresh rate. Now the next thing I want to show you is how to take a screenshot with the IQOO 12. So I'm going to show you several different ways to do this, actually 3 different ways to take a screenshot with the phone. Now the first way to take a screenshot is pretty simple. All you have to do is hold the volume down and power button for about a second. So we'll do that right now. And there we go, we took the screenshot. Then from there you have an option for a long screenshot or you can share it, but it will save to the device automatically. Now the second way to take a screenshot is to swipe down with 3 fingers. So we'll do that. And there we go, I took the screenshot very easily there. So that's another way to do it. And then finally, there's a third method, and that is to take a screenshot via Easy Touch. Now you will have to enable Easy Touch in the settings, so let's first do that. And there are some other features too with this feature that I do want to show you as well. But in the search, we'll type in Easy Touch. And it's right there. So it is under Shortcuts and Accessibility. So we'll enable that. Now there's a lot of different customizations you can make with Easy Touch. You can see them all right here. I do recommend kind of going through these and trying different ones. I don't really have enough time in this video to show you all of them, but you can see with Easy Touch enabled, we now have this little bump out on the side. Now if we swipe over on that, you'll see there's now a button there. And if you tap on that button, you do get some kind of quick toggles right here. So you can add in different applications, for example. There's also the ability to quickly go to the calculator or flashlight or screen recordings, but you can see another option here is for screenshots. So let's go to the home page and then we're going to go back to here and then I'm going to go to screenshots. And then you can see by doing that, it does take a screenshot. So again, there's a lot of different abilities related to Easy Touch mode. You can go over to the Easy Touch settings straight from there as well, and then kind of change things up here to be exactly how you want them to be. Now with the IQOO 12, we have a very large display at 6.78 inches. Now that's great when it comes to watching video content or going on social media, but if you do want to use the phone with just one hand, it can be a bit difficult reaching all portions of the display. Now thankfully, IQOO has thought of a cool solution to this, and it's called one-handed mode. Now to get to one-handed mode, you're going to want to pull down the shade again, go to the settings, then from there, go down, and then you'll go to Shortcuts and Accessibility again. And then from here, you'll see an option called one-handed, so go there. And then now enable that. And then basically by swiping over, it will then shrink things down to one-handed mode. So let's try that right now. And there we go. So now that we're in one-handed mode, you essentially get a mini version of the phone. So we can go back home here, and you can see it's a shrunken down version of the operating system, and you can reach all portions of it. Now in addition to that, you can tap here as well and then resize things. So if you want it to be a little bit bigger but still one-handed, you have that option. You can also move it to the left side or further up or further down. So a lot of different options there. And then once you want to get out of one-handed mode, simply tap on the X and then it'll bring things back to normal. Now the next thing I want to show you is a quick and easy way to access split screen on the IQOO 12. So first you have to pull up an app. So I have Chrome up. And then all you have to do is take 3 fingers and swipe up. And then now you can pick the second app. So I'm going to choose the calculator. And then now you can see it's a 50-50 split between each application. Then from there, I can grab onto this middle bar. And then if I want maybe the calculator to be smaller, but the web browser to be bigger, I can make that adjustment. I can also tap here too to swap them around. I can also tap again to switch the app. So if I want to switch that to a different app, I have that ability there. And then finally, if I want to add this configuration to the home screen, I tap here to the plus button, and then it'll create a app pair that I can then add to the home screen there. Now the next thing I want to show you is called Smart Sidebar. Now you probably already noticed it. It's right here. It's this sidebar. But if you swipe over on that, you can see you have quick access here to some various applications. You can also tap on this arrow button to kind of access really any app that you want. But then once you choose that app, it'll then pop out in a small window. So I'm going to choose calculator, and then now you can see the calculator is floating here. And then if I want to shrink that down, I can tap on the minus button, and then it's kind of on the side there is an icon. I can tap on that again to then bring it back over to the normal size. And then if I want to get rid of this app completely, I can tap on the X there. But heading back over to Smart Sidebar, you can see there are options here for settings. So over here in the settings, you can disable the feature completely if you want. You can show 2 recent apps. There's also options for scene functionality, and then you can pick the level of transparency for the actual bar itself. Now with the IQOO 12, when you set up the phone, they did give you an option to choose between the 3-button Android navigation or gesture-based navigation. Now if you picked one or the other and you want to switch between them after the fact, you can easily do that. So all you have to do is pull down on the shade here, go to the settings, and then type in nav in the search here. And then you'll see right here system navigation, so go there, and then go here, and then you'll see that there are quite a few different options. Now the first thing is, you can actually choose for the 3-button navigation how you want the keys to be ordered. So if you want the recent apps on the left side and the back button on the right side, you can make that choosing instead. This might make more sense based on if you're left or right-handed. You can also choose the icon style as well, so basically it kind of just changes them slightly. And then finally, there's an option for gesture navigation. So if you go there, it'll switch things over to gesture-based navigation. And then if you want to hide this bottom bar, you can do that too. But basically, you can swipe up to go home, swipe partially up to go to your recent apps, and then swipe from the side to go back. But this concludes my video on tips, tricks, and hidden features for the IQOO 12 smartphone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. Definitely let me know, though, what you think of the IQOO 12. Do you like this device? Do you own one currently? Or are you thinking of getting one? I'm certainly very curious to know. But this is Kevin here, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and have a great rest of your day.